Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
So let me give you another example of what Moderrissi does.
Yeah.
So if I just show you, so he says, for example, there's a confusion when the Ghaybah happens. The problem is, he's mentioning references, but when you're reading a book, most likely you're not going to refer to that reference. So, for example, on page 87, he's discussing that at the time of the Ghaybah al-Sughra, people are confused. So he says that, we had narrations about the Ghaybah. He says, the reports predicted that the Qaim would first disappear from the public scene to emerge later and establish the rule of truth. One report even predicted 2 periods of concealment for the Qaim. After the first short one, he was to reappear and then go into a longer period of occultation, during which most of his followers would lose their faith and leave the true doctrine. Okay, so we have different narrations about the Ghaybah. Then interestingly, a different version of this report predicted that the first period of occultation would be longer and the second period would be shorter. So he's saying, the Shias are confused, and apparently there are some narrations, they're saying, oh no, the first Ghaybah, which we call Ghaybah al-Sughra, no, that's the long one.
Yeah.
The second Ghaybah, which we call Ghaybah al-Kubra, that's going to be the shorter one. So somebody reads this and says, people are confused, Is it 1 Ghaybah, 2 Ghaybah, which one's the long one, which one's the short one? The claim over here is that apparently there's a report saying that the first Ghaybah is the long one. So in the footnote, he says, Nu'mani, page 170. So if you refer to Ghaybah al-Nu'mani on page 170, if I can just open that narration and show you this is the source he's given.
Yeah.
So if you open this reference, this is how the hadith goes.
So now you're going back to Nomani itself, page 170.
Yes. So he's saying, this is my reference. This narration tells me that the first Ghaybah is going to be long and the second Ghaybah will be short. Okay. You go to the page. He says, this is the narration. Ishaq bin Ammar as-Sayrafi says, I heard Imam as-Sadiq say, for the Qaim there are 2 occultations. One of them is long and one of them is short. One of them is long and one of them is short.
So there's no tartib basically.
There's no tartib. As for the first one, a group from his Shias would know of his whereabouts, whereas for the other one, no one would know of his whereabouts except his special compatriots who are on his religion. This narration has nothing to do with what you're saying. Like your claim is that, there's a narration saying, the first Ghaybah will be the long one. This narration, all it says is, one is long, one is short.
It doesn't specify. There's no order mentioned.
No. So, unfortunately, there's many such errors in this book. But now I feel what the Hausa is doing is that, let's forget about this book now. Let's write our own intellectual history without these kind of errors and this kind of games.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.